I'll be sharing this morning on what I've titled Evenings and Mornings. Evenings and Mornings. The subtopic to that can be God's gift of sleep. Evenings and mornings. Genesis chapter 1. We'll read beginning from verse 3. Genesis chapter 1. It says, "And God said, let there be light. And there was light. And God saw the light that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness." Verse 5, "And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day." Now, it's important you take note of details. He didn't say that "and the morning and evening were the first day." He says the evening first and the morning were the first day. We jump to verse 8. It says, "And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day." Jump to verse 12. It says, "And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day." We jump to verse 16. It says, "And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. And he made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day." So when you check from the first day to the fourth day that we have gotten to so far, it says the evening and the morning, not the morning and the evening. When you get to the fifth day, it makes us know that God commanded the beings that move to come out of the waters, and it indicated the yin, and the evening and the morning were the fifth day. If we go and read verse 31, which concludes it, it says, "And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day." I want to share with you a very simple principle, but I want to give you enough foundation to make that principle solid in applying it. Now, what begins the day is not the morning. What begins the day is the evening. So from day one we saw, when God created, he says the evening and then the morning. The evening and then the morning. The evening and then the morning. So the evening is what begins the day, that ushers in the morning. Whatever you will see in the morning did not start in the morning. It began in the evening. The news that makes headlines in the morning was not created in the morning. It was created in the evening for others to hear in the morning. I did a study of a certain newspaper publishing house, and I realized that their busiest time was in the evening. That was when they spent the time putting the stories together, that early morning others will rush for it. So what makes news in the morning was created by some people in the evening. So You begin your day by what you create in the evening. If not, what you will see in the morning will be the creation of another person. So when you rise up in the morning, you would either meet what you created in the evening or what someone else created in the evening. When you check the lifestyle of Jesus in Matthew chapter 14, and verse 23, it says, "And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray. And when the evening was come, he was there alone. And when they were gone over, they came into the land of the Gennesarets. And when the men of that place had knowledge of him, they sent out into all that country round about, and brought unto him all that were diseased, and besought him that they might only touch the hem of his garment. And as many as touched were made perfectly whole." Here we are told of a time when people gathered to meet Jesus. And it says they brought various sick people. And then everyone desired that they might touch the hem of his garment. So it was not just the woman with the issue of blood that recognized that touching the hem of his garment can make you whole. There was a multitude that went to touch the hem of his garment. But before we saw that reality that day, the Bible first starts by making us know that at evening time, Jesus withdrew himself alone. What the multitudes were experiencing in the morning was created when Jesus was alone in the evening. So, if you want to frame your day, start by framing it in the evening time. Remember, when God was creating the earth, it starts by saying that, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was light, and he separated the light from the darkness. Why do we see the morning as the beginning of the day? We see the morning as the beginning of the day because of the sunlight. That is when light is available for people to start doing their activities. But when you check the beginning, when God said, "Let there be light," it was not sunlight. The sunlight was created on the fourth day. So what happened on the first day? What happened on the second day? What light was being used on? John 1 will give you a good understanding of that. When you start John chapter 1, it tells us a certain angle of the beginning. It says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." It says, "Without him was nothing made that was made." And it says, "In him was life, and that life was the light of men." So it wasn't sunlight that was used. Now we've shifted to a time, I also address that, where the sunlight is what gives us light. And that's why, hence, many work with the morning as being the beginning of the day. But before you lay down to sleep at night, it's important you frame how you want your day to be. So that you don't now get into your day to start facing challenges you now have to be believing God for, simply because you failed to frame your day the previous evening. In Psalm 16 and verse 7, it says, "I will bless the Lord, who had given me counsel." It says, "My reins also instruct me in the night seasons." There's an instruction that you get in the night. There's a counsel of God that is made available, and that time is in the evening, not in the morning. The evening sacrifice is where God comes in the cool of the day to give you the instructions that are necessary. If you want to check anybody that made strides in scriptures, don't check their morning activities. Check their evening encounters. Anyone that made exploits in scriptures, don't check the activities they were doing in the morning. You'll miss it. Check the encounters they had in the evening. Don't just check how Moses went to meet Pharaoh in the morning to speak to him, let my people go. No, check in the evening when God comes to meet him and tells him, go and do this. Cause frogs to come out from here. It was in the evening he got the instructions to work the miracles in the morning. Yes, Solomon, great man, the wisest in his time, the richest in his time. You can't understand the greatness of Solomon by checking his activities in the day. The blessing that brought all the exploits we saw came from his evening encounter. You want to understand Daniel? You can't get Daniel by dealing with Daniel in the morning. No, in the morning is when Daniel goes to meet the king to tell him, oh king, this is the issue, this is the answer, this is that. But in the evening is when God meets Daniel and gives him what he'll tell the king in the morning. You want to check Joseph? Here's the man Joseph to be married to the woman called Mary. And some issues came up. Here is this lady that is pregnant all of a sudden. The instructions that Joseph would need to direct how things should be done with Jesus came in the night season. There was a man called Paul. He was on a trip with a couple of people. And as they went, the ship began to capsize. And there was panic. And he told everyone, do not be afraid. Because an angel came to me in the night and he told me there shall be no loss of life. Your night seasons, the evening, is when instructions are given you to begin your day. In actual fact, the middle of the night is the beginning of a new day. When we get to what we refer to as midnight, that is actually when we cross into the new day. So when you are with your time and you hit midnight, it changes. It becomes 0, 0, 0, 0. It's the middle of the night, yes, but it's the beginning of a new day. So by the time you wake up by 5 and you say, oh, I woke up early today, 5 o'clock. No, it's like you did not hear yourself. I woke up early and you just mentioned 5. What you just told us is that 5 hours of the day has gone. 5 hours of people already starting activities. Jesus said that if a man walks in the night, he stumbleth because there is no light in him. The reason the guy stumbles in the night is not because it's night. And it's not because there's the absence of the sunlight. He says because there is no light in him. When you go to Isaiah chapter 60, it makes us know that the sun will no longer be your light. Jesus took it to a higher level. He says that you are now the light of the world. People use the sunlight to begin their day. No, now you are that light that should be used to begin the day. You are the light of the world. So, if our evening seasons determines what happens in our day, then it becomes interesting if most of our evenings are spent sleeping. If your evening is what creates what you see in the morning, and your evening seasons are spent sleeping, then it's dangerous. Because it's whilst men sleep that an enemy comes to sow tares among the wheat. Solomon would advise his people, he would say, don't give sleep to your eyes. He says, a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of their hands. That's how you invite poverty. So, it becomes interesting that our evening seasons are spent sleeping. Now, here's it. Why do we sleep? The reason we sleep practically is so that our bodies are restored. So there's a blessing in sleep. You go about your activities in the day. You've gone to work, you've gone, done a couple of things. You can get back home tired. Your mind saturated with the activities of the day. The things that did not go well. The things you still have to do. If things also went well, the stress it took you in going through all the activities. So by the time you return back home, you are likely to be weary. So you would end up entering into your new day with lack of strength. Because you're exhausted. And that is what you would take. Tiredness into your new day. That's where the benefit of sleep comes in. That it helps us to lay down our body so that we can pick it back again strengthened. You don't put new wine in an old wineskin. There are fresh things you cannot receive with a body that is weak. There are ideas that can't come to your mind when your body is tired. And that's where the blessing of sleep comes in. Now, there's also the sleep that God gives. Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 13. Okay, sorry, let's go to Psalm 127 rather. Psalm 127 verse 2. Psalm 127 verse 2, it says that it is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he giveth his beloved sleep. Here it says that it is vain, waste of time for you to rise up early in the morning and then stay late at night, and what you are doing is feeding on the bread of sorrows, on regrets, on things not working well. It is vain. Because it is vain for that to happen. It tells us what God does to take care of that vanity. He gives his beloved sleep. So there's the sleep God gives us that takes care of the sorrow we would have had in the night by lamenting. There's a sleep you can get because you are tired, based on the limitation of the body. But there's also a sleep that God gives. You see that in the beginning. Here was a man called Adam. The Bible talked about the fact that the animals had a helpmate. But for Adam, there was not found a helpmate. And so God put Adam to sleep. Not that Adam went to sleep. God put Adam to sleep. And whilst he slept, God took something out of him. There was a work being done. And then when Adam woke up in the morning, he found the result of what God did with him in the sleep. So when God gives you sleep, there are things that may be sorrowful in your life that he takes care of. He has the ability to put you to sleep and correct certain things in your body. He can take it out. He can take some things out. Another man called Jacob, he went on a certain journey. He was going to Laban's house. And he got to a certain territory. And when he got there, he was tired. And he used a stone for a pillar or for pillow. And he slept there. It was an ordinary place to him. In his mind, he was having an ordinary sleep at an ordinary place. But when he slept, he had no idea that this sleeping was not a normal sleep. And when he slept, he saw something in his sleep that he could not see whilst he was awake. Whilst he was awake, he could not notice God in the place. But when he went to sleep, he now recognized that God was present. Yes. When he was awake, all he saw was something that was ordinary. But when he went to sleep, now his eyes were open to see what was extraordinary. So in your night seasons, there are things God shows you that normally during your daytime you will not be able to comprehend. There are things, if God is to tell you during your daytime, you will not believe it. But in the night is when he can show you dreams, strange things. Sometimes check the kind of dreams you have in the night. It's in the night when you are dreaming that you can see yourself flying. With wings, you are traveling everywhere. You were in Dubai, then Sudan, then Togo, then everywhere. But in the morning, if you see yourself flying, you must first check what you were drinking before you saw yourself flying. It must have come from a green bottle. But in the night is when you realize that it's possible for God to tell you things and you believe. You can be a man called Joseph, and then God will show you certain dreams, and you will believe it. That your brothers can come and bow down before you. No, if God told him that in the daytime, he won't have believed that. So God showed him that in the night. So because on a normal basis, our body is weak. But we must remember it's our body that is weak at night, not your spirit man. There are things God does with our spirit man whilst our body is asleep and our mind is laid to rest. The truth is that it's not really all of you that goes to sleep. God made us in his image. Don't interpret yourself by looking at yourself. Don't see yourself as short simply because you are actually short. No. You see, you were not formed in your own image. You were formed in his image. So if you want to understand yourself, you don't understand yourself by looking at yourself. You understand yourself by looking at God. Now let me drop something about God that we know. Is that God neither sleeps nor slumbers. So now let me drop the part about you that you should know. Is that you also don't really sleep nor slumber. Because you are in his image. So the aspect of you that goes to sleep is not the real you. Your body, that is your house. That is not you. One of the early church doctrines is that you are a spirit, you live in a body, and you have a soul. So your body is not the real you. It's your spirit man. So in reality, you don't go to sleep. The aspect of you that resembles God does not go to sleep. So when this can go to sleep, God can still communicate with your spirit man. Have you had experiences before when you get into a certain situation and when you are there, you are like, no, it's like I've been here before. This particular thing, I don't, come, what you are telling me, have you told me about it before? And the person says, no, I've not told you about it. But how did I know? No, you knew. Your spirit man had been. There are journeys God took your spirit man ahead in. So God works with us in our sleep. When you go to the book of Job, it tells us that in the night seasons, when he has clothed man's understanding, then he releases instructions to him that will take him out of sorrow. Now, when you go to sleep, don't just go to sleep ordinarily. I'm tired, so I'm going to sleep. No, go to sleep knowing that there's an encounter I'm about to have this night. You can now redefine your sleep. I was sharing this with some people sometime, and then someone heard that she was about to take a certain business decision. And then she went to sleep that night. And then started seeing some strange things about the people she was trusting with that decision. Prior to that time, there's no way you will have explained to her that these people are dangerous. Because there's no dangerous thing they have ever done to her before that. But in the night, she saw that. And so she woke up so convinced. Because she knew what she had heard in terms of the teaching before that. And then now she has experienced it in the dream. So she went ahead and avoided them. Why did she avoid? No, she was given an instruction in the night. And then 2 months later, she meets someone who tells her a bad experience the person had with these same people she was going to invest with. Encounters you must start getting ready to have at night. I'm going to sleep. I know I am tired, but God, give me sleep. There's the sleep you can give me that will take away sorrow. God, that is what I received this night. There are people who have negative experiences in their sleep. Now, you must remember that whatever God does, the devil manipulates. The devil is not a creator. He's a manipulator. There's nothing original from the devil. If you see the devil do anything, he has only gone to manipulate something God has already done. Right from the beginning. If you see the devil come and oppress mankind and put mankind in oppression, his greatest work was in the garden. What did he do? No, he just came to manipulate what God had done. So that's always the strategy of the devil. So in that same way, you will find experiences of people who say, I slept at night. And when I slept at night, something happened. I had a dream and I was running. And someone used something and hit my leg. And then when I woke up, I started experiencing pain. And when I woke up, I had this in my dream. And when I woke up, my waist, pain there. No, because the enemy knows the blessing of sleep. So he also goes to spoil it for people. Now that you know that God is involved in your sleep, you can't just go to sleep and allow the enemy oppress you. No. See, I am active in my sleep. You must have that in your mind. Whatever devil wants to come and disturb you in your sleep, now you can have victory over it. I slept and you dealt with me in my sleep. I am going back to sleep again. God, give me good sleep. This time I'm coming back with a victory. God is involved in my sleep. He gives his beloved sleep. So when I wake up and I see you and I tell you it's a good morning, believe me, because I had a good sleep. Believe me, it was a wonderful sleep. Believe me. First Samuel chapter 3. It says, in verse 3, it says, and ere the Lamb of God went out in the temple of the Lord, where the ark of God was, and Samuel was laid down to sleep, that the Lord called Samuel, and he answered, here am I. And he ran unto Eli and said, here am I, for thou callest me. And he said, I called not, lie down again. And he went and he lay down. We know the story, let me not waste time on that. Here is the man called Samuel. Samuel from birth has been separated to be unto God as a prophet. What makes us recognize you as a prophet is your ability to hear God. That's why we see you as a prophet. But here we have a prophet who had not heard God. Until one particular night, when he went to sleep, and then this time he heard the voice of God. Of course, he was not used to it. So he ran thinking it was an ordinary thing that just happened. He went to Eli. He says, no, you called me. Eli says, no, go back and lay down. Now he goes again, another sleep. And then he hears God's voice again. He goes to meet Eli. He says, no, you called me. Eli says, no, I did not call you. Go back again. But wait. I understand God's dealings. Just in case you go back again and you hear that voice, say, speak, Lord. Your servant hear it. These guys' ears were opened one night. For someone, I don't know who, you can choose that this night, something about you will change. That this night, your ears will be open. I've always wanted to hear God. I've always wanted to hear God. This night, you can go and sleep, and then your ears will be tuned up to hear God. This night, I can go and sleep and decide this night my eyes are opened this particular night. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 24. It says, when thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid. Yea, thou shalt lie down, and thy sleep shall be sweet. I don't think you saw that as a prophecy for you. So let me read it again. It says, when thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid. Yea, thou shalt lie down, and thy sleep shall be sweet. Prior to this time, I don't know how your sleep has been, but there's something you are living here with. Is that when I go to lie down, I am not going to be afraid. Nothing can scare me any longer. I have been having nightmares. I've been having spiritual husbands. Now you are going back to sleep and you will not be afraid. Because from now on, your sleep will be sweet. Can someone prophesy that to yourself? Say, my sleep will be sweet. Prophesy it again. Say, my sleep will be sweet. And that's going to be our testimony. From now, when I go to sleep, I'm no more scared. I'm no more scared. Jesus went to sleep, and there was trouble all around him. But this is Jesus sleeping. The disciples came to tap him up. Don't you care that we perish? No, I don't sleep in fear. I don't know what is happening around. I'm sleeping in peace. And my sleep is sweet. How is it that Jesus is sleeping and enjoying his sleep when there are people crying and lamenting? Oh, now I understand what happens during his sleep. So my sleep is sweet. I may have ended the previous working day with a lot of stress, with a lot of things not working. Just like Daniel. Your day ends. And what is the ending of the day? The ending of the day is the king has made a judgment that if you don't get me this answer, you are going to die. That was the ending of his working day. Death coming. Maybe for someone, the ending of a day for the person was that this business deal, I'm taking it away. Maybe for the ending of someone's own, they've told you, oh yeah, 24 hours, you must offer your resignation letter. Maybe the end of someone's day was a medical report the doctors had given. Daniel had a negative report to end his day, but he understood what he could do in his evening seasons. It doesn't matter how bad my previous day was. Joy will come in the morning because in my evening, I'm going to work some things out.